The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tier Tuesdays here with the HighLowSports podcast. We appreciate y'all here for joining us. It is DJ, joined as always by my co-host Kelsey. Kelsey, we are 5 weeks in. The tiers just continue to go up, down, spin around. We're starting to get a little bit of an idea of what to expect with some of these teams as the season goes along.
I mean, I guess you can call it a little bit of an idea. I don't know. I will say this. I think this week, one of my fears came true to full fruition, but we'll get to that in a minute, I imagine. But yeah, there's you're starting to see the true contenders, true pretenders in a lot of ways. And then the guys that just, it doesn't look like they're ever going to get on track at this point in time. So it's nice to see finally week 5. It's those trends finally starting to shake themselves out.
Absolutely. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right onto it, and we're going to take a look here at the tiers, and we're going to start and work our way up to the bottom. As promised, Kelsey, if the Cowboys laid an egg against the 49ers and got blown out, they were getting their own tier, which is what the F was that? It's okay to lose to the 49ers. There is no shame in that. It's okay to lose badly to the 49ers. That you can't have happen when you are considered a top 3 team in the NFC and a true Super Bowl contender. That can't happen. And especially after you lost to the Cardinals as well, you basically are a bully at this point. You beat up on smaller kids like the New York teams at this point, the New Jersey teams and the Patriots. You beat up on 2/3 of Caleb Watch, which will take us into, or 2/4 of Caleb Watch, which will take us to our next tier. Arizona, the Giants, the Patriots, and the Broncos, they stink and they need quarterback help, but they need a lot of things, but definitely a quarterback as well. And you know what? The Cowboys have played 3 of those teams and they beat 2 of them. And then the other team that they beat is a little bit higher, but for different reasons. We'll get to them. Next, we got to the bad tier. These teams maybe not quite on Caleb Watch, or in one case, they don't have their first-round pick anyway, or in the Raiders' case, they are winning too many games, but they're still not good teams. Bears, Panthers, Raiders, Vikings. Vikings with Justin Jefferson out, they might be in Caleb Watch next week. We'll see what they do. They might trade Kirko Chains, and they're on Caleb Watch too. We'll see. Not very good. Bengals, they had a nice little "we are back," but it was the Cardinals. So we're gonna reel it in just a little bit. That was more Jamar Chase just showing off his 7-Eleven-ness. Falcons, a win over they did beat the Texans. They are 3-2. Still very much Desmond Ridder finally used the forward pass a little bit more often this game, but still Jets, a nice win over the Broncos, but it was the Broncos, and there's still some issues at quarterback. But Breece Hall was they finally took out the training wheels, as he was electric, and that was more of this one's for Nat Hackett. We'll see if they can do that without the nice emotional boost that Sean Payton gives them. Packers, that was absolutely awful. They should be lower. Tennessee lost to a backup quarterback and a rookie quarterback in the same game, basically. You were losing to the starting quarterback. Who's a rookie. He gets hurt. You lose to the backup quarterback, nonetheless. Not a very great team. Fun and frisky. Cleveland Browns, they didn't play. Their quarterback issues worry me with Deshaun with the shoulder contusion out, but that defense is still elite. The Chargers, off week. If Herbert comes back healthy, they're still fun and frisky, and they might even have a chance to climb. The Colts, the aforementioned team, they are the MLB team in playing NFL football right now with a starting pitcher and a relief pitcher, basically. Problem is your starting pitcher is now out for a month. Washington Commanders, a very rough one against the Bears, but we see they're able to contend with just about everybody else what they do with the Eagles, so they'll get fun and frisky for now. The Rams, competing with the Eagles as well. They've been competitive in every game they've been in so far. And then the Houston Texans, kind of same story, different chapters. CJ Stroud continues to be absolutely outstanding. Quite good. Detroit Lions, enough said. Seattle Seahawks didn't play this week, enough said. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3-1, didn't play this week. They're towards the top of the NFC South. Jacksonville leading the AFC South now. Baltimore, a tough loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are also on the list, and the Saints, who, though they did a number on Bill Belichick, we'll leave it at that. Super Bowl contenders, we have the Bills, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, and the Eagles. Not a whole lot of surprise here. And then the 49ers continued their destruction on all things NFL football at this point. So you can make a case that the most competitive team they played was the Rams because Sean McVay decided to kick a useless field goal to cover the spread. But we digress there. Kelsey, take it away. Tier Tuesdays, where are we moving, where are we starting, where are we grooving?
You talked about the 49ers destroying everything football. I'm going to play off of that a little bit, and I'm going to go to Quiet Good Row, to the very last team on the Quiet Good Row, those Pittsburgh Steelers. I refuse to call them quiet good. And the reason why is they are minus 41 in point differential this season.
3-2 and leading the AFC North.
That's fine, but they stumbled into that. That is not because they are good. That is because, well, You played some really bad teams at some really bad times. So for them, not so much for you. But
TJ Watt is quite good, and he elevates literally everybody else at this point.
TJ Watt by himself puts this team in, oh, okay, you're here still. But everybody else on this team puts this team in, oh God, you guys are here still category. I feel like the Steelers should have their own category at this point, similar to what we started the season with Mike Tomlin somehow just winning it, having a winning record this entire time in his career. This kind of feels like this with the Steelers. Steelers to me do not deserve to be quite good. Maybe fun and frisky, but honestly, it's not even fun watching their offense. The fact that it's come out now that Kenny Pickett literally called an audible to get the game-winning touchdown to George Pickens, and seeing Matt Canada's face on in the box when he then throws that said touchdown, like, that's not the play I called. Why'd he throw that touchdown pass?
Why did that work? No.
Yeah. What is this forward pass option you talk about? I thought we were running the wing T here. Like, no, come on now. This Steelers
game. Nothing over 5 yards. We planned this.
Yeah, the Steelers are weird to me just because I don't feel like they should be up there. Yeah, they are 3-2. They are leading their division. What is a not very easy division to lead right now, but you also have the Bungles looking like the Bungles again. You have the Browns. Well, I mean, they're running out Darian Thompson-Robinson.
And now PJ Walker this week if Deshaun can't go.
Yeah, PJ Walker this week. So, and then you have Lamar literally, as RG3 said, running for his effing life at one point in time. Or
Fudge.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know. This just feels like they stumbled up here. This feels like the Seattle Seahawks at 7-8 winning their division, or it was the Cardinals winning the NFC West back in the 2010s. So, yeah, my argument for the Steelers should not be quite good, but I honestly don't know where to put them because they are just kind of stumbled their way into quite good. Like, I just feel like there should be a separate category that we're just here to not get fined.
If they're 4-2 next week and have sole possession of the AFC North, they are getting their own tier. I will give them their own. They will get their own ranking next week. They will get their own. They'll get their own row.
If they can score 25 points all offensively, then they can be quite good, I guess. But like right now, I'm not seeing it. And again, I know this is me, maybe biased, maybe whatever. I just anybody who tells me this is a good offense we're watching two different things. Defense, look, I mean, yeah, okay, fine. Their defense is what it is, but
special teams is okay too.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I guess this is exactly what we talked about 1,001 times with Mike Tomlin. He's an X's nose, or he's a Joe's and Smoes guy, not an X's nose guy. It may not look pretty, but you know what? Somehow it gets the job done.
He defies logic and makes it happen. I can't explain it, but you know what? They can sit here for this week, I guess is what they get this week because I don't know what else to do with it.
I keep wanting to argue to put him down further, but I keep arguing myself in a circle here because it's quite literally just an endless circle. You can't get away from it because they are winning, but they're not good. I don't know. Fun and frisky. I'm okay with everybody in the fun and frisky category. It does suck. Anthony Richardson's now out for a while. Looks like that AC joint sprain for the Colts. So I think long term that'll get him probably away from this fun and frisky area. But then again, with the JT return and Zach Moss doing what Zach Moss is doing, Zach Moss looking like a gangster out there. I mean, goodness, try to tackle that man. Good luck. It wasn't happening this last weekend. So, I mean, maybe they have a two-headed monster and Gardner Minshew just has to dink and dime his way through the game.
Dink and dunk, he can do that. Straight to the sky to Michael Pittman on the occasional third down. Like it's a pretty easy job. If you never know, and maybe he's just the guy they need to beat Jacksonville for the first time in 10 years. You need to recruit a former one to beat them.
Maybe that's the answer here. And then we have the Nine and Dimes podcast there with the LA Rams, obviously with Cooper Kupp returning and Puka being Puka. Well, we'll see if he gets as involved, but going forward, I think the Rams will figure themselves out. And look, CJ Stroud is an absolute weapon in Houston. I wasn't expecting this for them. So yeah, I like all the fun and frisky teams for right now. We'll see. I think the biggest movers here, probably obviously the Colts. I say the Browns being the other team that could potentially go down here. I also think the Chargers could climb. Justin Herbert right now looking like QB2 in the league. Maybe. Am I wrong?
He's in that conversation, that's for sure. I want to see how he comes back healthy now that with that hand injury too. That is the right time for him. Weirdly enough, a week 4 bye was just what week 5 bye was just what they needed.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, for sure. So we'll see with that. But moving on from there, I'm gonna just go to the Bengals. You beat the Cardinals. Great job. But Joe Mixon has still yet to crest 100 yards this season. Just crossed 80 this game. He got 81 yards. Joe Burrow finally looked like Joe Burrow. Unfortunately, it was against the Cardinals. And again, no T. Higgins. Jamar Chase looked fantastic. There's no doubt about that. But it's against the Cardinals. So I do think there's a lot of holes in the secondary. Not very good might be just the safest place for them. Falcons, honestly, you're lucky to be in the not very good category right now. That was a crapshoot of a win. You honestly, my betting pick was like, I don't know. I picked one team on one betting app and another team on another betting app, and I was right at least once on one of them and won $5. So, but I mean, it wasn't like I was happy about it. It was it's like choosing your ex here. It was not fun. They're just very lucky to be there. The Jets, though, I do like the fact the Jets took the training wheels off. They look like a good team. That defense is still really, I won't say fantastic. It's still really dang good. Their offensive line, now that it's really healthy,
minus Elijah Tucker's now out for the season.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
they're here for a week basically.
Yeah, it was good for a week, and now ABT's out, and that sucked because it was actually a good offense to watch. It was a fun offensive line to watch. The receivers, like, yeah, you may not get the most yards in the world, Garrett Wilson, but you got 60 plus. You're doing better than some guys on some teams right now. So I think the Jets, they're figuring it out. I think we'll see for sure going forward with the Jets this week. Trying to think of who they play this week, and it's not coming to my brain at all. The Eagles. So yeah, we'll definitely see who they play this week, how that goes. I do think if Zach Wilson can put up a little bit of momentum from his last two games, along with what Brees carried in, I think the Jets could be a very dangerous team to somebody like the Eagles. So this team could climb, honestly, or honestly plummet. We'll see how Zach Wilson does. Green Bay Packers, kind of like the Steelers. You're lucky you stumbled into not very good here. Early season win, maybe the only thing keeping you up here, because right now it has not been a fun time watching the Packers the last couple of weeks.
They're here because I like Aaron Jones, and he hasn't played. That's why. That's the only reason why.
Realistically, Aaron Jones gets 6 catches. He gets 10 touches out of the backfield if he's healthy. And you're looking at maybe a completely different game. The last, actually, two of their losses could be completely different games here. Titans, I'm going to say the same thing about the Titans. You're lucky you stumbled here. That you're lucky the rest of your vision's not very good, because that puts you in the not very good category. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that where it is. Bad. I think all the bad are fine. I think the Bears, we'll see what they can do going forward. I think they do look good last week. If they can continue that for another week and get 2 weeks of momentum going, watch out, ladies and gentlemen. We might have a 3-win team by the end of 2 weeks from now. But yeah, both. Let's look at Bears and Vikings right now. Same division, both 1-win teams. We both had them predicted pretty high at the end of the season. I think they can still turn it around, but right now, biggest issue being defense for the Vikings and consistency for the Bears, and especially look at that offensive line. Now you got Tevin Jenkins finally inserted back into that offensive line. That the team did look good, but you did also suffer an injury finally. I say finally. You suffered an injury after Tevin Jenkins got put back in. So now you lost another lineman after adding a lineman. So it's like, oh, great. What are we going to do next week? But I don't know. We'll see, especially being the center. We'll see if he's coming back next week. And if so, maybe
they had the biggest addition of all, and that was simply by subtracting Chase Claypool. As soon as they took him out of the lineup, Justin Fields is now leading the league in touchdown passes.
Honestly, you compare Justin Fields and Dak Prescott, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but this season, it's night and day. I take Justin Fields on a heartbeat.
You kind of alluded to that. We're going to skip Caleb Watch because that is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, Caleb Watch is fine. Caleb Watch is what it is.
Let's go right to it. You alluded to it with the moment we've all been waiting for. Your Dallas Cowboys.
These Dallas Cowboys. I'm not claiming these Dallas Cowboys. Them boys, we'll call them that. This is the only time I'll ever refer to them that way. Finally showed their true colors. It's not America's team. Their colors are very similar to Cleveland colors in the performance they put out there. Very orangey and brown. It's not a good look for them. Not a good look for the Cowboys at all. And yeah, they maybe belong in Lake Erie as well. But look, it was awful. Whatever performance they came and thought they put out against San Francisco, or thought they were going to put out against San Francisco, I don't think they actually recognize the fact that San Francisco's actually a good team and that offense is actually good. And oh, wait, by the way, their defense is solid and not easy to push over. I don't know what the play calling is going on right here. I don't know what Dak is doing in the backfield. I don't know what the running backs are doing right now. I don't know what anything is happening on this team. I just know that CeeDee Lamb was the only bright spot last night, and that wasn't even very bright, but that was the only bright spot last night, realistically. Oh, and Robert Turpin, because Robert Turpin is always a bright spot when he's on the field because he somehow manages to score a touchdown. But yeah, the Cow. I wish I could say more about the Cow. Honestly, I'm just so flustered by it. They are who I thought they were at the end of the day. Is the best thing I can say is I predicted this last week. I said I don't know how good they can actually be considering they played just a bunch of scrubs. Well, they showed the 49ers. The 49ers showed up and showed that was indeed correct. And they might be the weakest link. But we'll see. I mean, look, the Chargers come in. They go to LA, go to play Chargers in a home game in LA. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, if they get blown out by the Chargers after getting blown out by the Niners, I think it's safe to say that the Cowboys are in panic mode.
They would be relegated to schoolyard bullies who basically are in trouble at that point too, because people have realized that unless they're bullying and front running, they can get had.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get a takeaway, where's that offense? Like that offense operates fully off of the defense getting takeaways, and if there are none, you get nothing.
And you can run on them, as we could tell. That wasn't a one-off. You can run on them if you just stay committed and actually have the right scheme set up too. It looks like
well, let's be clear and say this: like, if it was just Christian McCaffrey that had ran over him, if it was just the Niners that had ran all over him, that's one thing. But the fact it was James Conner and that butchered Arizona Cardinals offensive line that did it first, and then the Niners are like, oh boy, we're going to do this. And not only that, the Niners then pulled out 2 trick plays to score touchdowns with George Kittle just for the fun of it, which, by the way, is the most insulting thing ever, is when you give up 2 trick plays to a tight end to score a touchdown, who also happens to be wearing the T-shirt that says F the Cowboys. Shout out George Kittle for that. I mean, I don't care if Micah Parsons is offended by it on his podcast. Maybe win the game, and then you can talk about it on your podcast about how you're offended, but you didn't win the game. He can say whatever he wants to. I've had this mentality for a long time. You lose, you can't take it. You just got to take your lumps. You win, you can say whatever you want. Got the playoffs? Maybe if you're the Cowboys. So you have motivation to get there. So we'll see you.
You'll really go get them next time because you snuck up on him this time after the full week of saying you were ready for him. So I guess that's what will change. Good luck.
No, yeah. So, anyways, Cowboys, yeah, but they're where they thought they're what they thought I was, and right now it's just a big WTF right next to that star. It might be even dead center in the star, but maybe don't put out the idea of Trey Lance starting at quarterback at some point in time.
Don't rule it out at this point. I mean, I think they should have put him in instead of Cooper Rush at the end of that game just for fun. But I digress. That's what they should have done. But this is what we got here.
I think he's still listed as their emergency quarterback. That's why they didn't do it.
I still wanted it just for fun. It's like, oh, okay, Trey. Go out there, show them what you're made of. Oh well, we're getting clapped anyway. But anyway, I digress. But that's what we have for this week on Tier Tuesdays. Let us know down below what we got right, what we got wrong, what you would change, and what you think is just downright incorrect. And we'll tell you why. You might be right, we might be wrong. Who knows? But we appreciate y'all for checking. That's fair. I wasn't going to say it directly, but yes. But we appreciate y'all for joining us here. We'll see you all again next time.